Welcome back. Yes, I'm awake.
No, I was actually calling you because of what the director was doing in my ear, just to get you excited.
Okay, I am excited enough about the next
Risk
topic.
management.
We're talking risk management. Okay, Nigeria's economic outlook is currently challenged due to the continuous decline in the price of crude oil that has necessitated the implementation of tight monetary and fiscal policies. All these challenges, coupled with increased regulatory pressure, have made the year a turbulent period, even though we're just at the beginning of the second quarter. And I'm talking about this in connection with indigenous businesses and multinationals. We hear that plenty of companies are shutting down, and those that are alive are just clinging at straws. Well, to tell us about risk management and national development this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Joachim Adenusi, who is CEO Conrad Clark Nigeria Limited.
Good morning.
Now, I like the way that you reacted to my face when you mentioned risk management. And that's exactly where we're going to start. What do you mean by risk management?
Thank you very much. I think the first thing I'm going to tell you a story. If you imagine you live in a house and you have a particular position you put your bread every day, and this mouse coming every day to eat your bread, and you observe the same thing happening, now you have a couple of options available for you. Either you have lots of breads available you can always supply, you can't be bothered by the behavior of that mouse, or either there's something wrong with that individual, and either there's something wrong with that individual, or you have a method of preventing the reoccurrence of that particular behavior. So risk, I'm going to say risk itself is just simply, I don't know what's going to happen. That's what risk is. I don't know, because what's going to happen can either be positive or negative. Now, when you now talk about managing risk, it's simply saying, I don't know what's going to happen. How do I manage if the outcomes happens to be bad? Or what if it's a positive outcome? So really, risk management, as most people tend to understand it, people say insurance, health and safety, disaster, and those kind of, they're all just minute subset of the concept of the whole enterprise risk. But actually, risk management is about performance. I'll give you an example. If you look at Nigeria, we've had stories of big names, household corporations that most of us were familiar with, and they're no longer in place now. So we have organizations that a lot of us looked up to, that this will be the Nigerian brand that will actually make us proud. And after a few years, they will come, they will make money, there will be lots of brand presence everywhere. 10 years, 15 years, they're dead. And you often wonder why. Is it because we lack smart people? Is it because we don't do risk management? Is it because we're just wicked? No. But you find out that what we've not done well is to be able to put performance at the top of the agenda. When you look at individuals and organizations, when they say, I'm going to do this, and you call them to account. And that's why risk and governance also link together. Because the moment you said, I'm going to do something, and you fail to deliver, then your performance is at stake. That's my mini introduction. And if I'm going to also just help you to understand a bit, if you came out publicly and announced the audience, your viewers, that in 7 days' time, I'm going to climb Olumo Rock. And if I'm able to climb that Olumo Rock, I will expect the public to acclaim me or applaud me. After 7 days, you came out and said, no, I couldn't climb it. And they asked you why, so I don't want to tell you why. One, you're responsible, but you failed to be accountable. And that is a performance issue. It's a performance because you have failed to deliver the promise, or you have given them expected outcome, but you have failed to implement it. And you're not giving any reasonable or convincing evidences why you failed to perform that task. And so non-managing risk is equal to poor performance. Exactly that is what it is.
Non-performance.
Non-performance at all.
Not managing risk
is equal to poor performance. When you see performing organizations or nations, watch them well. When the French crisis happened early last year. I used to just give the example a lot. In Paris, a city well known for tourism. And when the terrorist attack happened the first time, it was in January. And that created fear in the hearts of a lot of people who were looking to traveling to Paris for a holiday or different things. Now, what the French authority did, they had to send out ground troops knocking every door to root out those guys, and they exposed them, that we caught them. Now, that is a demonstration of performance, that if you perpetrate evil here, we will expose and deal with you publicly. So there's a correlation between, and that's giving everybody else in the world that Paris is safe for holiday. But if you fail to do that, guess what's going to happen? The tourism industry will go down, the economy will go down, and the French Prime Minister or leader will be in trouble. That's performance on his part.
Okay, let's bring it back home here. KPMG came up with a report that in the last 2 to 3 years, 95% of C-suite executives believe that the organization has been exposed to increased risk. Now, let's see if we can look at some of those risks. We talked about what risk management is. Political risk, energy risk, security, capital availability, regulatory risk, competition risk, supply chain risk, business continuity risk, and disaster recovery risk. Now, that looks like enormous amounts of risk for companies.
Yes.
Holistically for the nation, this also applies.
Yeah.
How can all of this be managed?
I think also which I'm going to go back to how I want to predict. The danger is usually to start from looking at risk purely from a threat point of view. As I said, risk is simply uncertainty.
Which is what Nigerians will do.
That's what we do. We always talk about that.
Risk, everybody's afraid.
Thank you. But actually, risk is an opportunity to demonstrate performance. Because unless there is a crisis and you're able to offer solutions that can resolve it, you come out clean and better. And you get integrity, credibility, and your respect level will go up.
Sorry. So an awareness of risk management helps you to preempt or to prevent some...
To preempt, proactively plan, but also to reduce the frequency of recurrence. Now, back to my story about the bread and the mouse. So, for example, if I decide to ignore, I notice that this thing is coming every day to eat my bread, and I ignore, and I just, oh, this thing is coming every time. Something must be wrong with me. Yeah. My reaction will be, okay, I need to deal with this thing. So risk management is about this. What is attracting this thing to be coming to my house first? If I can proactively put something in place to prevent it, maybe there is a space in my room somewhere that there's coming through. If I can block that, I know my bread will save. Now, if after blocking that place, they're still coming in, and I don't know how they're coming in, can I remove my bread to another position? If they're still getting it, then I'm going to have to keep a vigil.
And catch them.
I'm going to catch it. And if I use mouse trap, it's not working. If I use rat poison, it's not working. Then I'm going to get buba and abara and just wait for that thing and say, today I will catch you. And I think that is the problem. When you know we're not managing that, when something reoccurs every time and keep on happening, the same thing over and over again, it shows one lack of understanding of the root causes of that issue, to lack of proactive thinking to resolve it, and 3, the desire and the passion to make sure that this thing will not happen again. And that is what separates mediocrity from excellence. Because the more you can stop something happening over and over again to you, then it shows that you're responsible, you're accountable, and you are reliable. That's why I say risk management is about performance.
In Nigeria's situation now, before we go back to the individual companies and the economy, let's look at the political scene. I gave some risk here. The political risk, social risk. What are we doing as regards to that part?
I mean, I'm not a politician.
No, you don't have to be a politician. Let's use the office of the citizen.
Let me give you some practical advice. I think let's look at social risk, for example. Social risk has to do with the habits and behaviors, really, that will have either positive or negative impact around. So social risk can actually be good or bad, but the bad side of it, for example, is come with the way people think.